With Giants training camp here, that means that the NFL season is right around the corner, and there's no better time to be talking about who might be on the field and on the roster for the New York Giants with NFL Sundays almost here. Jordan Runyan, beat reporter for the Giants, who works for ESPN, does an awesome job. Check him out. He came out with his most 53-man roster projection, and there were some interesting moves that he made. We're going to break it down as you're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's start with the quarterbacks. We'll go offense. We'll close the show with defense. In surprising fashion, Jordan Runyan had the Giants keeping 3 quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito. Not a surprise that it is these 3 quarterbacks, but the fact that Tommy DeVito is making the roster is interesting to me. During Joe Schoen's tenure as the general manager, he has kept 2 quarterbacks in both seasons. In 2022, he kept 2 quarterbacks. 2023, he kept 2 quarterbacks. But with injury issues to Daniel Jones, maybe that means he wants to keep another one on the roster and doesn't want to lose DeVito to another team. So Jordan Runyan has 3 QBs, making the Giants 53. From quarterbacks to running backs, he's got 4 staying on this roster, including Devin Singletary, Eric Gray, Tyrone Tracy, and Jacob Saylors. That one was interesting to me. No Dante Miller, no Jashaun Corbin. He keeps 4 backs, and it's the UFL star, Jacob Saylors, making the roster. That was interesting to me. I think you could pencil in Singletary, Gray, and Tyrone Tracy all to make this team. I think it is a true competition, though, between Saylors, Miller, and Corbin for that 4th and final spot. He also kept 4 different tight ends as well, with Daniel Bellinger, Theo Johnson, Lawrence Cager, and Chris Manhertz. And I thought Cager was somebody that was a little bit of a surprise. He had a really good offseason. Brian Dable mentioned that he thought Cager was one of the players that improved the most, but no Jack Stoll, who the Giants signed for agency early on from the Philadelphia Eagles. So you have 2 pass-catching tight ends in Theo Johnson and Cager, kind of a hybrid tight end in Bellinger, and Manhertz is more of your blocking, in-line, H-back, fullback type of tight end. At the receiver position, he had the Giants keeping 7 different ones. And one of the names pops off the screen. Bryce Ford-Wheaton makes the roster, according to Jordan Runyan of ESPN. And man, oh man, that one was interesting. I think this could be because of the implications and the skills that he has to be productive in special teams. But if you think about it, with Nabers, Robinson, Slayton, Hyatt, and Hodgins as the 5 wide receivers that made this team, are only really ones that are going to help you in passing situations, as Gunnar Olszweski and Bryce Ford-Wheaton are ones that are special teamers. Ford-Wheaton, maybe a guy that's going to be a gunner for you on punt coverage, whereas Gunnar Olszweski could be your punt returner. Interesting to see how those wide receivers are going to pan out. Really, really fascinating that he listed BFW, Bryce Ford-Wheaton, as a player that's going to make this roster. I hope he does. Offensive line, he has the Giants keeping 8. That's a little bit thin. I think it'll be closer to 9, but here are the 8 he's got. Andrew Thomas, Jon Runyan, Jermaine Eluemunor, John Michael Schmitz, Evan Neal, Josh Ezeudu, Aaron Stinney, and Jimmy Morrissey making this roster over a guy like Austin Schlottman or Marcus McKeithen is interesting. He said that he saw Morrissey be more of the guy that was leading the clubhouse in terms of working with higher huddles and higher groups than Schlottman. But man, Jimmy Morrissey making this roster over Schlottman and others is definitely something that we should all keep our eyes on. From offense to defense around the corner. But first, get hooked up with our proud sponsor, Game Time, the #1 ticketing app in the game. And when you use the promo code ChatSports, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. You get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Prices drop as the events get closer. So if you're like me and you're a procrastinator and you don't want to spend the money until you absolutely have to, or you could do that and get hooked up with Game Time. They also are going to let you know when the best deals are going on for these seats you're looking at. That's called their flash deals. It's the little yellow icon with the lightning bolt as you see on screen. That will let you know that this is the best deal you're going to get. And it's more than just Giants games you can go to. You want to go catch the Yankees this summer, you could do that. Go catch the Mets. You want to go to a Knicks game in the fall. You want to go to a Nets game. You want to go to a concert. You want to go to a theater event. You want to go to a play. You could do all that by getting your tickets through Game Time. I use Game Time all the time. I got to go to the Home Run Derby. I went to the Grateful Dead concert last summer. I'm going to go to more concerts and theater events and stuff like that, all with Game Time. And I'm going to save $20 off my first purchase by using the promo code ChatSports. Word terms do apply. Create an account. Use the promo code ChatSports. That's ChatSports, and get $20 off your first purchase. Support the show. Support the sponsor. Be a real one. All right, let's go to the defensive line, where Runyan had 5 players being retained by the Giants on this 53-man roster projection that features Dexter Lawrence, Rakeem Nunez-Roches, Jordan Riley, Jordan Phillips, and Ryder Anderson. No DJ Davidson listed, which is a little bit interesting to me. He's going with Jordan Riley over him. I don't hate it. I'm a fan of Davidson. I thought he made some good plays. Defensive tackle number 2 is a question mark for this team, no doubt about it. I don't mind the way those guys they kept. Phillips has been in the NFL for a while. Rakeem Nunez-Roches makes a little bit of money, makes some sense. I'm not ready to kick the can on Davidson, but there's only so many guys you could keep. Hopefully you get him back on the practice squad. At the linebacker position, he included edge rushers in this as well, with Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari, and Boogie Basham as your edge rushers, with 4 inside linebackers being kept. That is Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden, Carter Coughlin, and Matthew Adams. So no Beavers, and you get 2 special teams guys, in Coughlin and Adams. You might be asking, well, what about Isaiah Simmons? We'll get to him in a second. The cornerbacks is where the Giants kept 6 players at the position. Deonte Banks, Cordell Flott, Nick McLeod, Trey Hawkins, Andrew Phillips, the rookie 3rd-round pick out of Kentucky, and Trey Herndon, the player the Giants signed after minicamp to their team. So you don't see a couple of players on this list who we thought might make this team, like David Long Jr. or maybe a Darnay Holmes, something along those lines. The Giants will continue to sort through who's going to make the team at the corner position. I've got faith in Deonte Banks. Outside of that, I really am wondering who the Giants are going to continue to deploy at this position. The safeties. I thought it was interesting that he listed Isaiah Simmons as a safety, but 5 safeties get kept by the New York Giants. That's Jason Pinnock, Tyler Nubin, Dane Belton, Isaiah Simmons, and the veteran Jalen Williams. I think it's interesting he listed Isaiah Simmons as a safety, which means Jervarius Owens is the odd man out, and he's going to be cut after being a 7th-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, with 3 special teamers specialists making the roster. That's Graham Gano, Jamie Gillen, and Casey Kreider. No major, I would say, shocks right there on that roster cut. Maybe Morrissey being on, Davidson being out. Let me know, though. Let me know. Grade the Giants roster for me in the comment section. Be honest. Get out your red pens and let me know. Grade the Giants roster A, B, C, D, or F. And also, give me a follow over on social media. I'm tweeting on Twitter. I'm posting on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Let's go Big Blue.